Welcome to this short introduction to Continuent products as part of our Tungsten University training program. My name is Chris Parker, VP of Customer Success here at Continuent. In this session, I will cover at a high level our four main products shown here. I won't go into great technical detail in this session. Each product is covered in detail in the associated masterclass series. First, our flagship product, Tungsten Clustering, a complete, proven solution offering continuous MySQL operations. Based on asynchronous replication, Tungsten Clustering offers a range of topologies to suit every business need, providing high availability, disaster recovery, and geo-distribution. Tungsten Clustering is platform agnostic, running on-premise, be it VM or bare metal, or in the cloud. We can operate in multi-cloud and hybrid cloud environments. Tungsten Clustering also provides read-write splitting amongst many other features as part of the Tungsten Connector or proxy. We support all flavors of MySQL, such as Community and Enterprise Editions, Percona and MariaDB. And what's more, we work out of the box with very little to zero changes required in your application. If you are not yet a customer, then you can also deploy and configure Tungsten Clustering via the AWS and Google marketplaces. Let's review the three types of topology that you can install. First, our standalone cluster for high availability. This would typically be a minimum 3-node cluster which offers localized HA. You would have one single primary write node and 2 replica read-only nodes. More replica nodes can be added providing the total number of nodes are an odd number to maintain quorum, for example 3, 5, 7, etc. The Tungsten Connector provides balancing of reads across the replicas and directs writes to the primary, all seamlessly without any need for your application to know which node is primary and which is a replica. The cluster can be on-premise or in the cloud, however it cannot span regions or for the nodes to be geographically distributed. Our next topology is our composite active-passive topology. Here you would deploy 2 or more clusters, each cluster containing a minimum of 3 nodes. One cluster would be identified during configuration as the primary cluster. This cluster will receive writes via the primary node within it. All other clusters will be defined as passive. Passive clusters can be deployed across other sites, enabling geographic distribution. You can even deploy across cloud, for example, one cluster in AWS and another cluster in GCP, and they will replicate between themselves with no issues. The Tungsten Connector will work in the same way, ensuring writes go to the primary node in the primary cluster. However, you also have the added benefit of being able to distribute reads across the remote passive clusters. Ideal if you want to place your data close to your customers to improve read performance, but still ensure data integrity without the need for complex active-active changes. Tungsten Replicator keeps all of the nodes in all the clusters in sync. In the event of a primary node within the cluster failing, as with a standalone cluster, a new primary will be elected. However, with a composite active-passive topology, should you lose the entire primary cluster, then you can promote a passive cluster to take on the primary node. Our final topology is our composite active-active topology. This is a more complex topology. Again, you would deploy 2 or more clusters, and again each cluster containing a minimum of 3 nodes. However, in this topology, all clusters are active. Clusters can be deployed across other sites, enabling geographic distribution, and like the active-passive topology, you can deploy across multiple clouds. Tungsten Replicator keeps all the nodes in the clusters in sync, with bidirectional replication between the clusters themselves. However, it is important to understand that the replication is still asynchronous, and as such we do not have conflict resolution built into the product. We have a range of best practices to avoid such occurrences, but when using this topology, it is important that your applications are designed with active-active in mind. We discuss this topic more in our advanced masterclass training. The Tungsten Connector is active-active aware, and in this model, connectors are deployed with an affinity to a specific cluster, meaning they will only write to one cluster. They can also be configured to read from only one or distribute reads across all. In the event of the loss of a cluster, the connectors will then reroute traffic to another cluster automatically based on rules that you can define during installation. Tungsten Replicator is an integral part of our Tungsten clustering solution. However, it can also be deployed as a standalone product. It is an asynchronous replicator and transactionally consistent in that we only extract and replicate complete transactions after they have been committed to the source database's binary logs. The replicator can extract from all flavors of MySQL, but additionally we can also extract from cloud SQL services such as AWS Aurora. The real power in the standalone replicator lies in two areas: the ability to replicate into a range of heterogeneous environments and the flexible and powerful filtering capabilities. Additionally, you can configure complex topologies such as fan-in and fan-out. Like Tungsten clustering, Tungsten Replicator is also available to deploy from the AWS and Google marketplaces. Tungsten Dashboard is the GUI that allows you to manage and view your Tungsten clustering deployments. It is a lightweight, web-based app that you deploy yourselves. One single dashboard can be configured to manage all of your Tungsten clusters within your organization, providing simple point-and-click operations. The first release of the dashboard, V1, can be used to manage all versions of Tungsten clustering from V6 onwards. The V8 release of Tungsten Dashboard is a vastly improved version of the product that can be deployed in a Kubernetes environment. This version of the dashboard supports version 8 onwards of Tungsten clustering only. Note that neither version of Dashboard currently support standalone Tungsten Replicator installations. And the best bit, Tungsten Dashboard is free to all Tungsten clustering customers. Tungsten Operator, available from V8 onwards, is designed to allow you to deploy Tungsten clustering within a Kubernetes environment, offering simple launch, configuration, and management of your clusters. So to summarize, in this short session we have discussed our 4 products: Tungsten Clustering, Tungsten Replicator, Tungsten Dashboard, and Tungsten Operator. Each of these products have their own masterclass series of technical training which you can follow at your own pace. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this session. Goodbye and smooth sailing.